Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never ever will be seen, Skeens.
What up?
Want to welcome y'all back to another episode, but as usual, better than your average is the channel and the movement. How did we get here is the show. We got two cousins that are like brothers talking anything and everything in the process. How did we get here? Thank y'all for tuning in. We send y'all love, peace, and blessings. And we pray that you and your family are all healed, healthy, blessed, and prosperous. But Skeens, how you doing, my brother?
I'm great. What about yourself, bro?
Well, seeing as how you're 41 years young now, what insight do you have for the people?
Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday to Trey in advance. Because by the time this drops, it should be his day.
Yeah, Trey will be turning 8. My brother, Brian, shout out to Brian Carter, just turned 42. My godmother, shout out to Shavella K. Gatson, my fairy godmother. She just turned 50. Changa, the bestie, Changa just turned, dang, girl, how old did you turn? Her birthday was the 22nd. But I think Changa turned 36. I think. Don't be mad at me, Chang. But
TJ birthday was like the 14th.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of May people, man.
Yeah, my guy used to work with me in Dom, Stephen Cologne. Me and him share the same birthday. My guy who passed, Big D.
Yeah.
He passed. Me and him, same birthday.
Yeah.
Malcolm X.
It's
a whole list.
A whole bunch of shout out to the May babies, man. We probably start doing it at the beginning of every month. We shout out the May babies, man.
You know what? When it comes to birthday, you know, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. the way I deal with my birthday,
we're the same.
People, it's not really that important. And when I say that, it's not. I don't really care for all the glitz and glamour.
Right.
My birthday is my day to meditate, reflect. Yeah, thankful for the good, the bad, all the people in my life. Sometimes I'll send my thank you text message to people, you know, that made a difference to you throughout your life, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a day. Just be thankful to, and continue the journey and think about what can you do internally to become a better person. Think about all your mistakes, all your achievements. So it's basically that roller coaster of life, and you kind of sum it up within that day. You kind of move forward and, kind of regroup and kind of come up with a better game plan for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Me and Skeens are similar about our, we're very appreciative and we're thankful to God when we reach these milestones. But a part of our keeping it even keel is even on those days, we try to stay even. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't go to work on my birthday. That's it.
Don't want to go to work. And if anything special, it's going to be spending time with family, eating, talking noise. That's kind of our favorite pastime. You know what I'm saying? Man, I was sitting, and some of y'all have seen, I posted this on Facebook, but I didn't tell Skeens this. So, your boy Trey, your godson. So we got Trey and we got Emmanuel and Nate. The little passes where they can go to urban air to jump, where they can go anytime. And it's usually they have like a time limit, but these cats they be like, yo, y'all can just stay. So them jokers will jump all day. So guys, my father-in-law will typically take Trey for the first shout out to Mr. D.
Hey, a soldier.
So he will take Trey to jump for 3 or 4 hours. Then Trey calls, Daddy, what are you doing? I'm like, what's up, son? What you got? Can you come over here? Papa's getting ready to leave. So then we stay over there another 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? So this dude will literally jump 6-7 hours.
Like a full-time job.
Bruh. And then he be all tired and wore out where he just can't do nothing. So anyway, we did this Saturday. We did it Sunday, today that we're recording this. And so yesterday, Trey's like, yo, Dad, can we play air hockey? So I'm like, cool. The joint's like $5, and you get 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And yesterday, I didn't even know we got 4 rounds. I didn't know until today that I walked off and didn't know I had some rounds left. So anyway, as I'm sitting there, I look, and it's a little kid right there. We later find out his name is Michael. and he's like trying to get in the mix on the plan, and I'm like, hey, my man, I gotta pay, because he's like, after you done with him, I want to play. I was like, first of all, I don't know you,
he calling Knicks like at the basketball
bruh. So I was trying to I'm over here, y'all, trying to explain to these kids that I have to pay for this, and I'm like, it's me and my son. He just like, he don't get it. I told wifey, I was like, them kids was hounding me so much, man. I was like, are these some like little jump park hustlers? So I started patting to make sure I still had my money in my little wallet and stuff, right?
With a little monkey off of Aladdin.
Abu, yeah, you know, I'm like,
him Aladdin after stealing.
So then me and Trey went and was shooting basketball. One of the other kids that was with Michael, he's there like trying to get in the mix and get a ball and shoot. I'm like, yo. So Trey starts running around with them. So I just be following, watching them. So Michael was like, hey, you can leave him by himself and come with me. I'm like, that's my son, man. He's like, he's a big kid though. Cause he's a little bit, I can tell you a little bit. I'm like, so y'all, today, me and Trey, we go play air hockey. Nobody comes. Cool. And I'm like, Trey, cause I'm like, yo, the puck after the first set, it goes to 7. So after the first 7, the puck fell again. Then I paid attention that you get 4. I'm like, okay, cool. Did that. We was cool. So then we go and shoot basketball. And as I'm at this time, me and Trey was going back and forth because on the basketball, it's $5, but it gives you like 4 or 5 rounds, I think. So I'm sitting there getting ready to shoot. And I look, and there's a little Caucasian little young gentleman there like, oh, I like to play basketball. I'm like, oh, okay, man, that's cool. So he's trying to like ease in. I'm like, yo, it's like, somebody trying to ease over in traffic. So I'm like, hey, so I'm like, put my body.
Hey, you got to hit him with the James Harden. Step back.
So I'm trying to block this kid like from coming to shoot. I'm like, yo, once me and my son finish, then you could come over. So he's like, hey, but my mom doesn't have any money. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just paying for me and my son. Then he like screamed, but my mom doesn't have any money. I'm like, yo, beat it, kid. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you don't put mom's business out there in the street.
Bruh, I'm like, so I was telling wifey, I'm like, I don't know what it is about these kids gravitate towards me to tap me up, man, but I ain't going. I'm not breaking, man. Anyway, man, that mess was hilarious, man.
My man off Paid in Full. I can smell money.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Uncle Sonny.
Man, I can smell it with money.
You shining.
Yeah, man. I'm like, this is crazy, man. But I was we've been discussing as we get into the topic, man, is topic of topics. But let's start first with y'all. We did an episode talking about what was going on the Joe Budden podcast, and when we released it during that time, like right after that is when, or probably like, I think it might have been the day of or the next day that they had put their response out. You know what I'm saying? As far as Rory and Mal. Here's the other funny part. Why do people act like we've been calling people that are named Jamal Mal forever?
Yeah. But
people be on there, his name is Mal. I'm like, why are people calling him Mal? Like, why are black folk act like we'll know how to say Mal? His name is Mal. I mean, stop. So anyway, Rory and Mal put out a response on Vimeo. Am I saying that right? Is that what it's called? And they charged $2. I see people here's the thing that's funny about us. I saw people claiming like, yo, you would have came and got me. I could have got you better. I'm like, I think they intentionally made it at that price point.
Very affordable.
To say we want to put our point out, but we ain't trying to just.
And if you rock with us,
it's $2 is nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, because there's some of the what is it? Not Cash App. What's the Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon.
That people have some Patreon accounts that's like $50, $75 a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the $2, like, is it's pocket change. So
anyway, without knowing it at the time and not knowing the details from Rory and Mal's position, I think we kind of hit some of those points.
Exactly.
Without, you know what I'm saying? So long story less long, I think the key point that came out of it is that Joe was painting a picture that they never should have had an expectation to want to see accounting. And people were under the assumption that Rory and Mal were confused as to whether they were owners and that they were just really employees. But come to find out, they had a deal where they were percentage of whatever the JBP brings in. They get a percentage of it.
Therefore, you would need to see the books.
I would need to see the numbers.
And, I mean, now you can say, "Hey, blind faith." I'm going to assume that my man's right. I'm going to assume that the accounting's right. Even though we've seen several people get screwed over by accountants.
Right.
ESPN had the 30 for 30 ball.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember when Wesley Snipes had this. The accountant was telling him a certain thing. Yeah.
So Joe was saying, "Hey, these accountants that they have to make sure the numbers are right." Like, bro, have you know? But at the same time, he also said, "I've been robbed several times in my career."
Exactly.
What did I tell you?
Right.
The accountings are not always correct. Like my mom went to the doctor. She got sick, nothing major.
Yep, she wasn't feeling well. But
and she was talking to the doctor. She was like, "Yo, do you think I should get like antibiotics?" Doctor, "Oh no, you good. Just taking Tylenol." She's like, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I've been a doctor for 26 years. I know what I'm doing." Okay. My mom go back for a second appointment like a month later, talk to a different doctor. "Oh yeah, you've been good if you able to get some antibiotics." She said, "I asked the woman, like, yeah, you would have been cool with less than a week if you got antibiotics." Then they end up giving her antibiotics a month later. So that lets you know no one's infallible.
Right, exactly. 100%.
But when it comes to those books, man, you don't know what you're getting unless you know what you're supposed to be getting. So there is a form of transparency that's necessary. And then Joe was saying, "Well, with my deal, I had NDAs. I couldn't let people see the numbers. So if we had an issue like now, it wouldn't have came out. But if my money is based off what I'm getting, therefore, hence that they should have really been a part of the negotiation at that time. And at the time that contract was being signed, their contract should have been signed at the same time,
right?
In conjunction, showing, hey, we see what it is. Now your percentage is going to be based off what we see that it is.
Right.
So a lot of it was transparency, issue with transparency, but more of anything, communication. Lack of communication, miscommunication is the detriment to many, many relationships.
Absolutely.
So we see wars happen over the littlest thing. Yep. We're from the South. You see a person say, "Hey, what's up?"
Right.
That's friendly.
Right.
You can say that same thing to someone up north.
Right.
What's up? They thinking that there's an issue.
They try to shoot the fair one. You know what I'm saying?
They ready. So, what you mean? Things get lost in translation a lot. So it tells that even the people that get paid millions, I don't know what their money is, but they get paid very well to communicate. Have issues with communication.
Yep. I mean, that's what we always talk about again in relationships, y'all, is again, a part of that process is communicating with one another. And I think too, what I learned in that interaction between them, in that miscommunication, is that even Rory and Mal were talking about, they kind of didn't they were communicating about what their issues were, but then to an extent they were letting it slide.
They're being very passive, but
you know what I mean?
They were being passive off of good faith.
Right.
This is my man, good faith. I know it's going to work out. But sometimes, as we talk about communication, even in relationships, marriage, and things like that, a lot of times you need to tackle make the main thing the main thing.
There you go. Yeah.
Tackle that issue when it comes about, and come from a place of love, and try to get understanding of your position. That way that person understands what you're meaning instead of building up. So it's built up frustration both ways. Yep. He's getting mad because they want to see books and not trusting him. They're getting mad because there's no transparency amongst the information that's supposed to be dispersed amongst the crew, which created, this blow up.
The fact that he felt some kind of way that they wanted to see the books, is that an indictment of Joe?
Yeah. and I think so, but it also goes to it goes back to his issue with being, as he said, being screwed over by the industry. So in so many turns, part of his thinking, and from my perspective, is he's thinking, I don't want to get screwed again, so I got to hold this near and dear to me to make sure no one gets over on me.
Right.
But because he had such a stranglehold on the information to keep everyone from on the outside, to make sure no one took advantage of him, the same way he was being taken advantage of within the music industry. He did to them what the music industry did to him.
Right.
So that stranglehold, not giving information, keeping him at bay, not giving him what he needs, caused that fractured relationship, and he did that same thing to his people.
And speak to when he, we kind of talked about it then too, but again, Rory gave clarification to it when Joe was saying that, he wasn't a day one, but then Rory is like, his homeboy on the first episode did the artwork, and
it was his email address on the with the SoundCloud account.
Right, that's what it was.
If you look at episode 1 of SoundCloud account, he said it's my email address.
Right.
So just because I may not have been on the first episode doesn't mean I wasn't a part of the creation. Now, you can burst an idea,
right,
and say, "Oh, I'm day one." Doesn't mean that I'm not here every step of the way.
Right. Exactly.
And so many people of us talk about, "Oh, my day one people." You meet some of these people when you're 25.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of the people that go in the clickbait that was complaining and was siding with Joe in that manner, saying, "Oh, he wasn't day one." Majority of your friends not day one. A lot of your day ones, as I told my niece when she graduated,
right.
A lot of your day ones won't be around for day two. Won't be around for the next day after graduation.
Right.
It's just what it is. It's not a bad thing. So a lot of times you grow apart.
It's just a life process.
Real life kicks in. You may have kids. That person may be working. You're focused on your career, your life, and so many things. And life takes you in every direction.
Yep.
Other than homecoming, you go back to school, go back home for whether you say homecoming at school or you go back to your church for homecoming, Easter, you don't really see those people. And it's not a bad thing. You're just growing into the person that you're meant to be, and that person is doing the same.
Yep, indeed. I think too it was key too when Maul even was saying how, I wasn't considered day one, but he was there from episode 70. And I think they're like 440 now. You know what I'm saying? And he was even saying that what he brought to the show, because again, when people were immediately siding with Joe, it was like, they didn't understand their worth or lack thereof. But really their worth to the show and that chemistry of the show, everybody plays an important role on that team. And like Maul was talking about, is that he brought like a certain palatability. And as Skeens and I talked about, Maul just brings a certain level of cool and swag. Maul is that dude that's kind of in the corner that everybody knows, but he's not boisterous. He got a dope fit on.
Somehow everybody gravitates to him.
Everybody gravitates to him, and everybody knows him. And even Rory was like, they were, thinking about trying to get another female on the show. I guess that was after Marissa left. And he said, Rory was like, him and Joe talk like, hey, how Maul came in here, because they called Maul in kind of on a whim to come and hang out. And he's like, yo, we don't need no female. This looks like it's going to be it. So for me, the overall idea of everything, like Skeens was talking about communication, but for me, it just further solidified for me that this is me. It's just me. If I'm coming up in the game and I'm able to bring my people along with me, man, I want to be transparent, and I want everybody to go. I want everybody to come. And I liken it to, it was, I can't remember this company, but this was several years ago, where the CEO, he had a small, I don't know what kind of company, what it was, but I think his annual salary was like $1 million or something like that. So he took a cut on his salary so that everybody starting out at his company makes $100,000.
But
You see what I'm saying?
But that is also part of leadership.
Exactly.
So even like Ma of them talked about when they got the what is it, the Spotify? No, the Patreon deal.
Yeah.
How him and Roy's like, hey, we're not going to take our first 2 checks. We're going to give it to the crew.
Right. Exactly. They did say that. Yeah.
They're overworked.
Yeah.
We can see it. We can see it. We've talked behind the scenes how tired everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
And people are talking about paper.
Right.
Therefore, hey, you know what? I don't need it. I've been saving money. I'm doing well. So let me go ahead and put a little bit, and let's reinvest in our people.
There you go. Right.
But that's the appreciation. Sometimes it's not even always about the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the attempt and also letting me know that I matter. You appreciate me. Mm-hmm. And it's just to say, even if you come and you say, well, HR moment, you can't even give a person a hug.
Right.
But hey,
do we want to touch that?
That's another.
Okay. Anyway, keep going.
But as little as just saying, hey, I appreciate everything you've done for me today.
Right.
Can change the perspective of how someone feels. Mm-hmm. That person may have been ready to quit. Right. Because they didn't feel valued.
Right.
But value. As we talk about communication, this further lets me know that we need to make communication skills a real thing in school.
Okay.
Like we really need to hone in, because one of the main that people have, the main fears, the biggest fears a lot of people have is public speaking.
Yeah, it is,
because you're not comfortable in that realm.
Right.
But it still revolves around communication. We don't really value communicating, effective communication. Let me say that.
Effective. Yes.
Everyone likes to talk.
Yeah.
But we don't. But
right.
We don't do a great job of effectively communicating.
Yep.
As well as actively listening with the intent to listen and understand.
Yeah.
We need to make those. And these, I think, from a 3rd grade on up, there needs to be some form of communication class every year going up. Mm-hmm. And then there needs to be different forms of resolution.
Right.
Different forms of communication, role playing persuasive situation, role playing conflict, role playing achievement, understanding how to effectively show someone appreciation. All these different things need to be a part of a communication class. That way we don't have these issues, because too many people you lose your life, you lose your job, you lose your family, so on and so on. Tons of loss is mainly communication.
Let us give you another communication gem. And this is allow Skeens and I to be, decently successful in communicating with people. And when somebody is telling you something, being a good listener, right? Your job, whether you already are feeling like you don't agree with what that person is saying, if you can think of it, you're 2 people looking at it this way. Like I'm looking at Skeens right now. Y'all can't see Skeens, aka the background killer, aka Dr. Claw,
aka never shall be seen,
aka the Wizard of Oz, right? So from my vantage point, I can see certain things that he can't see. Mm-hmm. And then also, as if he was communicating to me, there's things that he can see from his vantage point that I can't see. But as a good listener, I want to, in essence, take myself and move my side by listening and move myself to his side to understand and see his point of view. That's what we have to do. But as Skeens was talking about, often we listen to respond, not to understand. And then we have to keep our loving ears on and have love in our heart when we're listening and communicating with those. And that's one thing. Skeens and I haven't done anything super major at all, but any bread that we made together, it's always open.
It's always to reinvest.
And it's always to put it back into these lights, into the cameras, into these microphones, mic stands, into the system that we run our stuff into, the system, the software that we record in. all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of that also is, right, it's not about the money.
No.
Because if it was about the money, we wouldn't be doing this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
this
not.
is basically, it's our form of community giving.
That's it.
As we talking about being seen, bro, I ain't tell you. I went to they at the city hall, the city meeting a couple days ago.
You text me, but I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
So I was going out there and I had ideas. They had the police chief and other heads of the police department.
Okay.
They was talking about trying to ingratiate themselves with the community, doing different things.
Right.
So I had different questions I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to do it, but then I looked around. Several cameras everywhere. I put my cape on like Dracula. Like, oh no! I stayed by the door. They were like, "Hey, you want to come in?" Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
So a couple people actually came to the outside and talked to me.
Yeah,
and I got a couple people numbers that we
kind
of chop it up.
That's
on
good.
Some other stuff, but and then there was a woman that she had some other things she had going on. She was signed about being allegedly raped at the VFW and some other.
Wow.
The situation was like covered up. So plus, and I said, my questions don't. I looked at as one, I didn't want to be on camera, but more of anything, that was a bigger platform for her and the mission that she was on. I know she was going live and different things during that situation. My questions can wait when you got somebody that you can tell that she was hurting.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's a bigger, that means a lot more. And her trying to figure out a way to get her situation taken care of than me and a couple other people that was in the corner.
Right. I got it. Yeah. Also, I was thinking too, man, about leadership, as you were talking about, and even Joe, to shoot Joe some bail, he came back and, talking about because I think sometimes as leaders, we just think about our staff serving us and serving the client. But also as a leader, you are a servant. You have to have a servant's heart towards your people as well. And Joe was talking about if your people are asking you questions about the accounting, like they don't get it, it's my job as a leader to break it down and make sure whatever necessary things need to happen so that they do understand, especially if these are my people.
But it requires you to remove ego.
There you go, right? And I think two of my key things when I talk about with leadership are value and appreciation. You know what I'm saying? I think those are two key things that you have to do in your leadership is value your people and you show that to them with appreciating them. You know what I'm saying? And it's the simple thing of, depending on the budgets and, different things like that, I can't always necessarily break you off monetarily, but it's in word.
A day off.
And it's
extra lunch. It's little things.
Hey, take 30 minutes extra. Hey,
leave early.
Break out an hour early today.
Yes. Some
stuff like that.
It's not always about the money.
In my industry, it's, that, hey, how you dealt with that resident today? Great job. Appreciate you. When I talk to my staff, I'm, hey man, can you do me a favor? I mean, I could be, hey man, can you do me a favor? Yeah, Jeff, what you got? Then, hey man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, man. Hey, what you did for me earlier. Hey, thanks for calling that resident back for me. All those little things like that.
As we talk about, they have the 5 love languages. Some people love language.
Yes, and that's what you have to look at that. Yes.
But it's so weird. But I remember seeing a picture somebody had on IG. It was a long time ago. Had saying the difference between the leader. You have the picture of the one leader who's basically like the taskmaster.
Yep.
Then you had the other picture of the leader that was out there
pulling.
Yeah. But that goes back to old war times.
Yeah.
The general led the charge.
Right.
Even Romans and so on and so forth. The different. You go back to Mesopotamia, all the different fights. Hannibal and so on. They were always. They was in the mix.
They was in the mix. Yeah.
They was leading the charge. Not only am I the general, the one creating the strategy, I'm also putting in work. And part of me putting in work, that's how that's why everyone followed me, because they saw the work I was putting in.
Right.
You was a leader because you was the best, not just the best at running your mouth. You was the best at you put your, as they say, face with that work.
It's dead. Yes, sir.
They were doing both. They was pulling, basically, they was being the example of what they wanted their soldiers or their people to be.
There you go.
So I don't believe in you if I've never seen you do anything. Yeah. That's a whole nother tangent when it comes to college. Well, I'm not going to touch that one. But that you must, well, for a lot of people, they need to know that if you're giving me guidance, that this is real world experience, that you've actually been through the trenches when you're giving me this information.
Right.
Because if not, then a lot of times people just blow you off like, I hear you, sounds good, but have you ever implemented any of this information that you're giving? If you've never done it, or you have no case studies, or you say, I didn't do it, but at least I got some people who did these things, and this is their testimonials of the things that they did. That's why I'm kind of giving this game to you. Right. If you don't even have that, then
well, it's same, Pop will hit you with that sarcasm. You be saying something that he don't believe. Yeah, I hear you talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hate just talking. That's it. Let's touch this real quick too. So Rory and Maul did their thing. I think it was successful. It was well received, their point of view. It looks like they're in the works of doing something. You know, him and Rory, some artwork got put out. And then, some people, I read, I do my reading of at least 100 comments on posts and stuff like that. And a young lady that was on another show of Joe's, is it See the Thing Is, or?
I think so.
Something to that effect. So it's got Olivia Dope, who's a DJ. It's got Bridget,
the former DJ, former host,
former host, and it's got Mandy from Horrible Decisions, and then it's got Bridget Kelly, who's a singer, been on Love and Hip Hop, etc. So there's these three women. So Olivia Dope had quit the show about 3 months ago. And she comes out, releases a statement basically saying she identifies what episode number of their show it was, and then gives out the timestamps of it was an episode when Joe came on the show. They were talking about their relationship with him as the boss and all this other kind of stuff and how you may feel and what they was talking about in their group chat and da-da-da-da-da. And she basically outlines that in that episode, Joe himself says that he didn't really have a relationship with Olivia. They had never really spoken outside of when it's their business type stuff. So she says that it was edited out, and Joe has issued an apology and did not deny it, but there were points in the episode where on 2 occasions he said that he wanted to, quote unquote, F her. And then, they did this awkward, piece it up hug. And, she said she didn't notice until she watched the replay of it that he was like, even doing like a little gyration type situation on her. So for me, I know that there can be times when we all have had relationships and friends that are men or women, where you play about certain things.
Key word though, relationships.
We always going back there. We're always going back there.
He didn't have a relationship with
her. He did not have a relationship with her to talk with her that way.
In the midst of trying to have an icebreaker and trying to be lighthearted, you don't know that person's triggers. You have no framework like the other women, to know like that. Mandy, him and her talk like, hey, they say wild stuff back and forth. They know each other.
Mandy is on a show that's called Horrible, spelled like whore. Horrible Decisions. So
him and Bridget have a relationship. So they have years of equity and understanding what makes the other person tick. You know what buttons to push. You know how you can say different things. You don't talk to your boy the same way you talk to your boss.
You don't.
Or your mother. So you understand those different dynamics of how to communicate. He was thinking being light. I'm thinking, just my perspective. Trying to be lighthearted, trying to bring some of the same type of energy that they have on the JBP. to lend some of their support and that energy that they have to try to move the needles for the women's new show.
Right.
It didn't hit because you don't have the relationship. Neither one of you, because they both admitted that they didn't communicate. She didn't really want to communicate.
Mm-hmm. And in that moment, she didn't feel
that she could communicate.
She didn't feel comfortable saying, "Hey,"
and he didn't know that she felt that way. So you had two people on the outside, on the other side of the door, waiting on the other person to open the door.
Right. But here's the thing. Again, he said it. He went through sensitivity training, and they had a therapist come on the JBP, and then a therapist was on the show, their show with Mandy and Bridget. But here's the thing, Skeens. From the time that you and I have been around, I ain't talking about no time running wild days or nothing, but in a professional environment, whether it's on a podcast or not, I just think there's something wrong with, what's the way that I'm going to get this girl on my side? I'm going to tell her that I've always wanted to her. Yeah. That'll do it. That's going to win her over.
But that goes to the click. We are in a clickbait society.
Right.
So people do different things. It kind of goes to our other topic. Mm-hmm. People do different things for the clicks.
Right.
I need a viral moment.
Yes.
I need this digital equity.
Right.
To raise my capital, because my capital that I obtain is based off the digital equity that I control.
Right. We talk about the currency.
You need those clicks and different things like that. That's the new currency.
Yeah. Social media currency.
So in the attempt of trying to get that kind of currency, and you like, hey, I'm gonna get a ooh moment. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, oh, that's gonna be clickbaitable, but he didn't account for. She's not that type of person that's okay with that type of material for the clicks.
Right. Not at all.
We talk,
bro, we barely were watching that show, and we could tell that
it was weird.
But even because that show didn't really ever click for me like that. Mm-hmm. It's gotten better. No shade to them, but Skeens and I would talk about
the best episode. Wayno was on there.
Wayno was on there. But we would talk about, even in just limited watching it, definitely Olivia Dope seemed like the most conservative.
And that was another thing. You could tell. Let's X Joe out.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Watching their show,
right?
You could tell that they didn't have chemistry.
Boom. There you go. Yeah. So there was a certain chemistry that
wasn't even there amongst the ladies.
Yeah. So, there's a certain chemistry that Mandy and Bridget had.
Yes, because they're more free.
Yeah.
Now I know Mandy said that she's known Olivia a lot longer than
Bridget did. Yeah.
But you can tell amongst those conversations that it was disjointed.
Right.
And then you can also listen and watch sometimes Brandy and Mandy, or Bridget and Mandy would be talking, and Olivia, if you look at the seating, she's the furthest away. If you just watch the seating,
right?
But then certain times, because of proximity, they would be talking, and then they would have to go out, make the I'm not gonna say go out of their way. They would extend the extra olive branch to get involved in this conversation. If you watched it, even before he got there, it was already kind of weird.
Yeah, he was trying to come in and kind of make it, again, do something to boost it, bring up some things with communication and stuff like that. But
if you watch the show, in my opinion, she would, once again, X and Joe out. If anyone watches any of those previous episodes, you could tell that she was going to be, she was going to be there for the long haul.
Right.
Just watching them.
Right. It didn't. Nobody was shocked when Olivia left.
And I'm saying, even before the Joe situation.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody was shocked. Yeah.
I already expected it was going to be her that would be the one to leave.
Well, and then, another piece, and we're going to transition, is that, Scotty, I didn't ask you, Scotty Bean put out a little.
I saw that.
People, she didn't say nothing specifically, but, she put out a little message about basically taking care of yourself. And, and people assumed that it may have had something to do with maybe what happened on State of the Culture. Then Ebony K. Williams just put out something where she was saying that her and Joe was cool until he found out that she was going to do a show
with Charlamagne,
on the Black Effect network. So to put a cap on this, Skeens and I have talked about this for years, but as dope as Joe Budden was, for those who don't know, Joe is a very dope rapper. He's dope at media, but Joe has elements of him that are crazy.
Yeah.
And I told...
a lot of creators are crazy.
They are. And I told Skeens I could try to have a kind of distant business relationship with a Joe Budden type dude, but to rock with him, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with a cat like that, man. I'm just being honest.
I've learned to accept people and take people at their level for who they are.
Right.
That way I know how to place them on my chessboard.
There you go. Boom.
So I know how to deal with it.
Yeah, for real. And talking about perfect segue scheme of the clickbait or let's talk about the Kwame Brown effect or the Godzilla waking the sleeping giant. Kwame Brown I was crunching the numbers because Kwame has had his YouTube channel, and this is Kwame Brown, y'all, ex NBA basketball player, quote unquote, the bust that everybody talks about from this modern era.
I think he was the first high school player that was drafted #1,
right?
For the Washington Wizards, drafted by Jordan.
He went on for his 12-year career to average about 6 points, 5 rebounds, something like that. Anyway. So, y'all, he had a YouTube page for a while.
Yeah.
But I was looking, he had a couple videos that, had a decent amount of traction where he was talking about why he didn't miss the NBA because the NBA is too woke for him. But Scheme, in 1 week,
he went up.
He has put out, I think I looked, 23, 25 videos.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 150,000 views. Per video, and this is just his channel, not counting where people are reposting it. In 1 week.
Yeah, he's moving numbers
in 1 week, man.
Right.
So what happened, you guys, is that again, Stephen A. Smith, Kwame Brown, Kwame Brown, Slava Medvedenko, absolutely deplorable.
Kind of got that Wesley Wabbit.
Yeah, he just, he has to get ridiculous. No. Kwame. The level of ineptitude that was exhibited by Kwame Brown during his basketball, his lackluster basketball career. It's moribund. I remember I had to look that up one time. I was like, what the heck? But anyway, another way of saying it was trash. But anyway. Kwame's gotten killed for a while. But recently, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes and Gilbert Arenas were on their podcast.
All the Smoke
on Showtime. Dope podcast. Dope show. And that's with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
And then Gilbert has the No Chill Gil.
Yeah, No Chill Gil. He got a dope podcast. Gil was a basketball.
Gil's crazy.
But a basketball again. Gil is another dude I'd have to put at a certain point so the chessboard.
Gil is a basketball savant,
but
he's crazy.
That boy crazy, man. So, I shoot the most bail really to Gil, how he broke down what happened with Kwame Brown, and really you take a high school kid. Fresh out, and you put him on a team. Y'all all saw The Last Dance with Jordan. Jordan, talking about leadership style. Jordan has one leadership style.
Results. Jordan is results.
Get down, lay down.
That's it.
I don't care. There's no, you got to manage people different. Jordan is one. So you take that guy that we saw in The Last Dance. And again, Kwame has idolized this man. And you go and you're like, I'm on a team with Michael Jordan. And for Jordan to be essentially smacking that dude upside the head as far as the expectation, that was not the prime environment for Kwame Brown to be successful in. So Gil breaks that down. So going into that topic of talking about the trade that happened at that time, and I'm gonna lean to Skeens since he's GM, but Matt was just gonna move on, but I think Stack did a little something.
Yeah.
And it goes back even to the Jenny Buss, I guess, interview where they were talking about what the trade, and they was like, it was one person in the trade. It wasn't two people in the trade. It wasn't one person. So this awoke the sleeping giant of Kwame Brown. And I think a part of the schemes is going to give you a whole bunch of perspective. But I told that I think more than anything, people are just surprised because Kwame has been considered a big, soft dude. And even like he said, with small hands. So to hear this big
that we've never heard,
him cussing and saying, "Oh, he got these your mama's cooking and all this," it's people didn't know this side of Kwame Brown, so people are of course jumping on the clickbait bandwagon. But Skin, give your perspective, brother.
It's comedy to me, in a lot of aspects.
Right.
So let's start with the expectation. So we'll first go back to the draft.
Okay. Yeah, let's go back.
Right. Michael Jordan had a deal that they was going to trade Kwame.
Yep.
To the Bulls, I believe at the time, for Elton Brand.
Yep.
No, take it back. The Clippers for Elton Brand.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was at the Bulls. One of them two.
Okay, sure.
No, he was at the Bulls because they traded him. Later, he got traded to the Clippers for.
Yeah, he was at the Bulls first.
Chandler.
Then he went. Yeah.
So Jordan perspective is I am in the twilights of my career.
Yes.
I'm in a win now mentality because you got to think the Washington Wizards made the playoffs one year when Jordan was there.
Yeah.
So Jordan is like, if I get Elton Brand, this is a guaranteed 20 and 10 guy. I still know how to play. I'm not the Jordan that I used to be, but if I got a guaranteed 20 and 10 guy on my team, I have a young Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, Rip was there.
I can't remember if
Stack was there, I believe,
or it was either him or there may have been the time that they still had Larry Hughes. I remember one of the two. I remember they got one that got traded for the other one.
Okay.
So Jordan's looking at a team that's ready to compete. And when it comes to the playoffs, it's not about who's the best team. If you can get in there, you can do damage if you perform.
Yep.
So Jordan is looking at the perspective that I'm ready to have a team that's gonna compete. Excuse me. I'm now told by the owner he's reneging on our deal. Part of me becoming part owner is me having access to try to kind of mold this roster because people forgot the Wizards was trash. So we can't act like the Wizards was great before Jordan got there. It was trash.
Right. Yeah.
So Jordan got there trying to do these different things to one, increase the notoriety of the team. Part of the notoriety and you being an owner, I'm increasing the equity of this team.
Right.
It's almost like how when people ran the clubhouse, we increased the value of clubhouse with no access for ownership. So he's coming in with the mindset, hey, I'm going to get ownership. I'm going to build the equity of this team. One by me being Michael Jordan, the most known athlete across the world.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have a team that's ready to win. We're going to sell a jersey. If we win and we're considered somewhat that people are going to take us serious, I can also attract more free agents.
There you go. Right.
So this is the bigger picture.
That's the big picture. Yeah.
People want to play where you're winning. I see a healthy culture.
Right.
But when the owner, cut Jordan legs from under him and say, no, we're going to go with the high school kid, Jordan's like, we are two different parallels of our career. I'm trying to win. You're wanting to start over. Yep. But you also brought me in under false pretenses. So Jordan is holding heat for Kwame.
Right.
So it wasn't the correct environment for Kwame being a young player playing with Jordan.
Right.
Now, let's get to the real. Right.
Okay.
I'm sick and tired. I like being the bad guy.
Yes.
I'm sick and tired of all these so-called Kwame supporters. Where were y'all at Kwame's whole career? Kwame's was in the league 12 years. I didn't see how. I would love to look up and see how many Kwame Brown jerseys were sold. Where was it? How many people were voting Kwame in for the All-Star game? Now, let's talk about this, right? People get caught up on the word bust.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Would we like to look up the term bust?
Okay.
Right. Now there's different methods, different, terms, but one of them that sticks out. An event that doesn't accomplish as its intended purpose.
Yep. And think about it, guys. What's the intended purpose of a number one draft pick?
Yes. So let's go through the sport for my sports people.
Yes. Come on,
right?
GM schemes.
When you pick the first play, let's go to football.
Okay.
Right. There's a reason why because the draft just passed last month. The 49ers traded up a couple of draft slots just to get up to number 3. They went from like 10 to 3 to draft a quarterback. Mm-hmm. They gave them like 3 first-round draft picks, a couple third and fifth, because that pick, and that's to go up to number 3 in the NFL, holds a lot of value. Mm-hmm. So I have to give up a lot. I have to truly compensate you to get up there to get that pick.
Right.
Right. Kwame was picked number 1.
Number 1.
So to put up the numbers Kwame put up, it's all about where he was drafted.
Yes.
And the expectations.
Yes.
What did that say? Didn't fully meet expectations. Mm-hmm. The expectation of the number 1 pick in the draft is you're gonna be the cornerstone to a franchise.
And I'll be able to put pieces around you to get us to.
And when it comes to basketball, you only need one great player to change the fortunes of your team. Look at LeBron when he got to Cleveland. See what Cleveland was before, pre-LeBron, and post-LeBron. Yes. One player changed the trajectory of that team.
Yes.
When I'm drafting you number 1, I'm expecting that same type of thing. Whether you do it year 1, now LeBron was an anomaly. First year he was great. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting over time you're going to become that guy.
About how many years are you thinking generally that?
Well, when it comes to them drafting high school players, they usually in the past will give them 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years. Okay. By year 3, they need to be seeing something telling me that you're going to be good.
Yep.
You're worth from you reinvesting. Because by year 5, you can truly re-up.
Yep.
Now, if Kwame was a second-round draft pick, the equity is not the same. Mm-hmm. So the expectation and the requirements of you are not the same. Or if you are a undrafted player, like Gilbert was drafted late in the second round.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Let's go, my man, left hand, Isaiah Thomas, 60th pick in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, he overperformed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson was like the 42nd pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I can't remember when Matt was picked. He wasn't picked that high.
Yeah.
These are people that when you say got it from the mug, because second round draft picks are not guaranteed money. You get a percentage. Mm-hmm. They give you a percentage of the check that you get, but you're not guaranteed to make the team for one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So when you got a player who's the first pick in the draft, you're the overall number 1 pick. I'm expecting you to fulfill what I'm requiring of you being the number 1 pick. Now, let's go with Kwame saying that, you're tearing down a black man, you calling me a bust. For my football players, of my football fans, how many white quarterbacks have been called a bust that didn't make it? It's not. So we can't. It sounds good when you say, you got a black man tearing up another black man calling me a bust. Well, this white quarterbacks got called bust. David Klingler,
Ryan Leaf, one of my favorite.
Bust. And it's not just TV analysts that call people bust. There have been coaches.
Yeah.
Look up Doug Glanville, Dan Glanville. I can't remember his first name, but he's the Houston Oilers old coach.
Okay.
Calling people a bust. Parcells had no problem calling you a bust.
Right. Yeah.
And so when people when Kwame is saying, well, y'all affecting my money by calling me a bust, what do you say to the coach that's calling you a bust? Because you are affecting that. See, it sounds good for the people that's listening. Oh, yeah, he's right. Well, Kwame is also affecting people money too. Because when you're the first pick in the draft, if you are a bust, or let's say you're a flopper, you didn't live up to expectations. You know what? A lot of people got fired. A lot of people get fired in the NFL when you mess up the draft pick, because there's so much equity in that pick, because choosing the wrong quarterback when the first round would set a franchise back 5 to 7 years. Guess what? There's a lot of people getting fired.
Right.
Potential get coaches fired. I've always said that.
Yeah.
Because when you pick wrong, you're gone. The same way with basketball. Several GMs got fired because of bad picks. Look how long the Clippers was bad. The Clippers had a lottery pick probably about 10 years straight.
Right. Yeah.
So under most circumstances, when you pick wrong, we're not making money because at the end of the day, the owners, or now they call the governors now because we're in the PC realm of the NBA, they lose money. And when they lose money, somebody heads have to roll.
Yes, sir.
So when you say, "Oh, well, y'all messing, you making me lose money," you making yourself lose money because one, Kwame didn't get any better.
That's the other thing me and you were talking about.
So
go ahead.
Now Kwame talked about analytics. Y'all didn't look at the analytics. Analytics are numbers that people make up now. That it has some merit, but analytics also is null and void. So Kwame was a very good defender. I will give him that. He was a very good one-on-one defender. Kwame couldn't shoot a free throw. His free throws never got any better.
Right.
Analytics have nothing to do with your free throws.
Right.
You're 6'11", almost 7 feet.
That base 7-footer.
You connected on less than 50% of your shots. MJ was a guard shooting over 50%. You're a big man in the paint. They weren't asking Kwame to go one-on-one. They was dumping all passes to Kwame.
We definitely saw him miss a whole bunch of catches, man.
He played with Kobe. He was fumbling that thing like you playing hot potato. We have to be honest.
Yes, sir.
He served a purpose of a defender. He set screens. Now, a lot of times getting open, you do need a great screener. But also, you're the number one pick in the draft. Now, as much as I need you to set a great screen, I also need you to be able to hit a free throw. They did have the Hacker Shack situation too for Shaq. But Shaq said, okay, Shaq would always say, hey, I may not make free throws, but I'm making when they count it.
There you go.
There was several years Kwame shot like 50% from the free throw line.
Let's look here. So for Kwame's career, he was right at 49%
from the field.
And as a big man, and
it wasn't like Kwame was shooting jump shots. That's what I'm saying.
His free throw percentage was 57%.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he may have had 1 year around 70%, but other years he was in the 40s and 50s.
He had 1 year where he was 68, and his last 3 seasons, he was 68%, 66, and 70% from the free throw line.
So NBA average is about 75%, I believe. I had to look, I can't remember.
But that again, over his career, basically his free throw percentage.
It hasn't been great.
Yeah, so 57%.
His free throw percentage is what his field goal should have been as a 7-footer who shot 90% of your shots within 10 feet, 5 to 10 feet of the goal.
So he got 607 games. He averaged 6.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 0.9 assists.
Gotcha. So for all of these fake Kwame supporters, y'all was wrong for talking about Kwame. Let's be real. Let's tell the truth. And I'm here for this. I'm here. You here for this, but you ain't where you need to be in a lot of situations when it really counts.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna go on my tangent of the places that you need to be. Look in the mirror.
Right.
But we got people out here cheering. Yeah, he telling them. But Kwame, what was the one thing Kwame said? Well, y'all tearing down a black man. But everything that they've talked about was basketball related.
Right.
But he's becoming the biggest hypocrite because everything he's doing is to tear down black men. You're talking about Chris Broussard's skin color, his skin tone. Chris can't. You can become a better free throw shooter.
Yeah.
Chris can't adjust his color other than getting in a tanning booth.
Right. Yeah.
Same thing by Matt. Oh, Becky with the good hair.
Yeah.
Matt played hard. Matt controlled his level of performance.
Matt lived up to expectation.
Matt wasn't a great player, but he understood I'm going to be a great role player.
Yeah.
On the UCLA teams Matt was on, he was the least heralded player on this team.
Yeah.
Because Matt was a football player. He made it to the NBA. A lot of other players didn't. He put forth the effort. He maximized his ability because a lot of people didn't expect him to even make it to the NBA. Because he was a quote unquote at that time considered a tweener, which is now, if you look how the NBA is broken down, he was a stretch 4.
Yep.
The way the NBA is kind of stretched, maneuvered now. Steven Jackson, Didn't go to college. He went overseas, played different places because of politics and other things. Steven averaged like 15 points a game, and that includes his first 2 years. He barely got playing time at San Antonio.
Well,
so that affected his numbers. His last 2 or 3 years, he barely got playing time. But other than that, those years, Steven pretty much was 18 to 20 points a game player.
Let's put it in perspective. As unheralded as Matt Barnes was for his career, 8.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 1.8 assists.
But also,
so you could say, to give context of why Kwame, you would be considered a bust.
See, the thing is, the numbers that we talk about, people sometimes look at the numbers, right?
Right.
The numbers are misleading.
Right.
Because basketball, for example, go back to my basketball analogy. Mm-hmm. Some people try to say him and Tyson Chandler have similar numbers, right?
Yeah. We talked about that.
Let's go down the impact Tyson had. Tyson was Defensive Player of the Year several times. Mm-hmm. Tyson, the way the NBA is broken down now, is a pick and roll league.
Yes, 100%.
Tyson was a role man. He was a great role man. But part of being a great role man is I'm going to throw a lob. Mm-hmm. He did his job, whether he scored or not. He was a threat, which Kwame was never a threat. See, it's a difference.
Yeah.
When if he rolled hard and they know he would catch lobs, the defense would double. You have to pack in the paint to stop him from catching lobs, because when he catch enough of them, the crowd gets up. You create energy with the team. These are things that don't factor into the stats and not the analytics that Kwame tried to tell you to look at.
Yep.
The energy of massive dunks change the energy of a team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As Mark Jackson said, everybody in the NBA goes on a run. You just need one spark play. Or when Tyson rolls hard, right? If he rolls correctly and they see him, they pack the paint in. Okay, the guard goes around. They're going to back off. The guard has an open jump shot. Or part of when he rolls is creating that corner three, which the NBA love now. That's part of the 3-and-D player. Right. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves a corner three, a 3-man that shoots a high percentage in the corner. Yeah. Because playing the pick and roll, you got the lob, you got the pick and pop, you got the guard that's going to go around, or you got the corner three. Yep. Tyson affects how the defense is played. Right. So even if he's not scoring, he's creating opportunities for other players based off what he does. Right. Because this is a read and react game. Mm-hmm. No one can say they've ever seen the defense rotating towards Kwame. Mm-hmm. Watch games. Mm-hmm. I told you, I have his first Summer League game. That was the most potential I ever saw out of him. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I still have it recorded somewhere at my mom's house. Yep. So all these people doing all this talking, oh, you're right. Well, talk to him about he's tearing down black men because you're taking personal shot at people, right? And at their life. Now, the only person I would side with him was when Charlemagne said some things.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that.
Charlemagne kind of talked on some family stuff, right? That shouldn't have never hit the light of day. But outside of the situation with Charlemagne, what he talked about, Will Barn. He talked about Stephen A. and other people. Yeah.
He talked about who else was on that squad, that big man? I didn't look at that video though.
He recently said something about Robert Ory. He's taking personal shots at different people. Now, if we're talking about tearing down black men, how many black men has he taken shots at? Personal shots. They're talking about your game. Right. Which, as an announcer or a basketball analysis, you're talking about the game because they're breaking down the game. Now, for the players that complain about the game, these people doing the breakdown.
Oh, Roy Hibbert.
Yes,
he said. I don't know what he said about Hibbert.
And Hibbert was way better than him. Yeah. Hibbert didn't play as long. Now, also, right, I'm going to touch that real quick. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me get there. How many players, you know how many centers in the 2000s I would have took over Kwame? You know, these are the golden age of NBA.
Yes, sir.
We have... I would take Brad Miller over him. I would take a Gauskas over him. Yep. These are not the guys. Right. These are okay. Mm-hmm. During that time, I can't remember if Dave Robson is still playing in his twilight. Was still a better player. Mm-hmm. You had Shaq. Mm-hmm. You had Mourning in his twilight after his kidney transplant. Was still a better player. Yep. You had Ben Wallace who put up similar numbers. Ben was a defensive player of the year. These people made impacts on the game.
Yes, sir.
Okay, during the time Kwame was playing, I think Antonio Davis still playing in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I would still take Antonio Davis. I would take Joakim Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford. It's a long listen. Yeah. You see where I'm going. I still have a lot of names year after year for all the people that's talking about. You shouldn't say this about Kwame. Bro, any one of y'all that's talking, that's a basketball fan in the slightest that watched any basketball, you would have never taken Kwame in the top 15 centers
at that time
per year.
Yeah.
Prime Dwight Howard. I can keep going.
Right.
Per year.
Right.
Kwame was in the bottom tier of big men. Well, Hibbert was better than him. Bro, Eric Dampier put up better numbers than him. And a lot of people don't remember Eric Dampier.
True indeed.
So let's not act like we got this praise and this love affair for Kwame, like Kwame was putting up great numbers and he was hated on. I get it. Different now. The situation, everything is about environments, right? Let's go there. Yeah. Right.
Let's shoot some bail for that.
The correct environment was not playing with Jordan.
No.
Right?
Nope.
Kwame played with several teams. Kwame never got better. He was a good defender. Give him that.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan them can talk bad about you, but they can't stop you from hitting free throws.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They can't stop you from finishing around the rim.
Yes, sir.
Now, even what Gilbert was talking, Gilbert was shooting in bail. Gilbert said, hey, he was a kid that he shouldn't have been in that environment. He was 18, so he was shaky. So Kwame didn't want post touches. He would want a layup or put back a different thing to get him in the flow of the game because psychologically he was still feeling the pressure, that Jordan pressure. Mm-hmm. So Gilbert and them tried to make the game easier for him. He still fumbled a lot. Look at a lot. I'm an avid Laker fan. Yeah. The game Kobe had 81. Kobe dumped off a lot of passes underneath the goal. Right. It was a lot of fumbles. Yeah. I thought the brother was juggling sometimes. Yeah. So let's. So, now I appreciate now when you say now for Kwame, I'm proud of him being a black man that was able to take care of his family.
Yeah, man, he made over 60 million.
You made money to take care of your family. So I'm never gonna talk bad about anyone who's ever able to take care of the family because that's the goal. Mm-hmm. Take care of your family, leave legacy, create a legacy for the next generation to not have to go through the things that people before you that didn't have the necessary resources to live a prosperous life or was forced to do commit themselves to a certain life of crime or whatever it is that they didn't want to do, whether to make ends meet. So I'm proud of him for being able to do what he did for his family. Mm-hmm. But let's not act like Kwame was the second coming of Shaq. Right. That's my only thing.
His best season was
probably like 10-8.
Yeah, we talked. His best season was the 03.
His last year with Washington.
04 season. No, this was that was his
last year with them, I think. Next to it.
No, it was the next to last. He averaged 10.9 points, 7.4
and I don't think Jordan was there.
So let's look at. We'll have to pull it up later. We'll look at big men during that time,
bro. I can go year by year.
You know what I'm saying? I got a long list. We'll have to look at that.
I got a long list year by year. I would love anyone like to debate me. We're talking about center play during that time,
right?
So, because some power forwards were also centers too.
Yeah.
But also the sports guys got to understand, right? The commentators are doing their job.
Yeah, that's
talking about the game.
Yeah.
Their job is to talk about the game. Your job is to play.
Yeah.
Your job is to play well. So when they talk glowingly about you. Your job is when you do bad at your job, you give them material to talk about you not performing on air. But also, they also have to realize these big checks that you all are getting is because of those commentators and them partnering with David Stern back in the day, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Adam Silver now.
Mm-hmm.
They lean on those different commentators, go back to Ahmad Rashad and so on and so forth, to create awareness about the NBA, about the players. They help brand the players through these interviews. These interviews help got them sneaker deals.
Yes.
So the different things that they would do, the article that was being written was creating a curiosity amongst the novice fan.
Yeah.
We read Slam magazine, so on and so forth.
Yep.
You became popular. A lot of players became popular because of the articles that was written by Scoop Jackson.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
Salute to Scoop, man.
Your ranking went up or down based off of Slam. Yep. Sometimes people got drafted or got recruited because of Slam. Look at Tracy McGrady. No one knew who McGrady was. He went to AAU camp and destroyed everyone. Yep. Part of that was the write-up. No one knew who he was. Yep. He was nowhere near in the top 100. I don't think McGrady's even ranked in the top 200 because no one knew him because he came from a smaller area. So these NBA players, you're getting these big contracts now because of these commentators that you say that you hate, doing their job that is increasing the value of the NBA and increasing the contract that you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
But yet and still you want the contract, but you're complaining about the entities and the different things needed to help you continue to get the contract. These are the same players now that want to sit out games but still want the contract. You want all these days to be able to sit down and take games off. Well, get some money back.
Right.
Because people pay their hard-earned money to come see a game.
Right.
And you don't come. Y'all got 3-4 months off. I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You got unless it's a birth of a child, family, a loss of life, someone's in critical condition, or if you just had a mental breakdown, I can get those situations. Other than that, you talking about you taking time off. You got 4 months off. Y'all travel luxury.
Yes.
MJ and them used to go place to places in buses.
Yes.
You all have private jets.
Yes.
You making Kawhi makes $40 million. You're wanting to take every other game off. Give that game check back that you're not going to be there, because what's going to happen is when you're missing ABC, NBC, these big primetime games all of the time, these contracts are going to go away because those TV entities are saying y'all are breaching contracts because my advertisement is based off the eyes that are supposed to be watching this game.
Yeah.
And the eyes that are watching this game because of the players that are supposed to be participating.
Yep.
Now, if these players are not going to be there, my return on my investment is not there. So I won't be able to continue to give you those checks because I'm losing money every game that that I'm paying you thus and such amount of money. Is what's going to happen.
Yep.
So people looking at it wrong, and even this year, people talking about the bubble and all the junk. Half the team's been out a year. I don't want to hear no, unless you're the Lakers, Boston. Well, the Lakers, Miami, Denver, and I forgot the other fourth team. Majority of the teams have been out for half of you been out over a year. Another team, couple teams was out 8 to 9. Shut up.
Right. And I think as I'm sitting here thinking about, I'm sure somebody would go back in the annals and be able to pull it. But one thing that was key about those big games and stuff during and we hate to be the old heads, but our guys, the marquee players didn't miss games.
No.
They didn't miss games, man.
People want to sit out, and part of the analytics.
Yep.
Then we talk about analytics.
Yep.
Well, players do better in the playoff if you don't play so many games. Well, tell it to the sponsors and the people that are requiring you to do what you need to do necessary for them to make money. Because the analytics you're making money, but those people, as Malcolm said, the chickens come to roost.
Yep.
These people are eventually going to say, guess what? I want my money. I'm not going to give you my money. Give you the same kind of money because my return on investment is not the same.
Yes, sir.
I'm losing money. So if you want to continue to do business, I can only give you that much. So then the NBA, now you start seeing the salary cap going down. Then you start seeing those max contracts from being a super max, you're making 5 years, 250. Now that junk may go down to 5 years, 125,
Right.
so on and so forth. It can start dwindling. So you can't see yourself being bigger than the entity.
There you go. Yeah.
You're not bigger than the game.
Yeah.
And part of loving the game, as Jordan and a lot of those people in the past,
Kobe,
was, one, they loved the game. Two, they understood that part of the entertainer is you have a responsibility to all of the people that are paying their hard-earned money to see you
perform.
You got people that sometimes you have a father that may work overtime or take money out of his 401k to take his son to the first game that he's never been to. So I'm doing all these concessions. I'm driving 4 hours to a game, waiting in line, so on and so forth, to find out that you ain't here.
Right.
You don't think that's disheartening for those people?
Right. Like I said, I never had the expectation that MJ was gonna miss a game, bro. When that stuff was coming on during that time.
Then you complain that, oh well, y'all don't understand what we go through. Look here, man. 50 million people lost their job.
Yep.
Last year, over the year. They don't want to hear you talking about millionaire problems when these people can't make ends meet. So you have the level of empathy that they have lost is astonishing. Like you came from nothing. A lot of you came from the environment that you now act like you don't relate to.
Right.
Some of you still have family members in those environments.
Right.
Your duty is, I must perform to make sure I can continue to feed my family. I can continue to make sure that the game it continues to grow for the next generation of players that's trying to do for me what Magic and Jordan and so on did for them. Magic had a 25-year, $25 million contract.
Right.
Show how things went.
Yes.
He was making $1 million a year.
Yes.
Magic's smile and charisma and different things he did helped catapult the league to being where it is now.
They say
Jordan
was on tape delay.
Jordan wasn't making real money for many, many years.
Many, many years. Until his last 2 years.
The league understood that, hey, Jordan is a star. We need to market Jordan as being a star, and by marketing him will also elevate the notoriety of the league.
Yeah.
Part of Jordan understanding is I must perform every day, and part of being a part of this brotherhood of this league, I got to come out and perform every day so that the next guys get a bigger check than me. But if you're going, but the mindset they're talking about, I want to make sure that other people get more money. But the way this chess, not checkers, the way y'all playing the game is eventually, if these entities are not getting return on investment, the money will flatten out.
Well, it's no different than how, they talk about the WNBA and how much money they make.
Bro.
It's a simple conversation of return on investment. It's a simple conversation. It really is.
Yeah.
The conversation is easy.
And then that's another thing, right? Shout out to the WNBA women, right?
Mm-hmm.
These women, right, make a fraction of what the NBA players make, for example.
Indeed.
These women also play basically year round.
Mm-hmm.
They play in the WNBA, and then a lot of them go overseas to make the real money and continue to play.
Yep.
While y'all chilling for 4 months, now you talking about I'm tired, and y'all playing pickup games every day.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all group up to have all-star pickup games, different places. So you're still playing.
Yeah.
But you're complaining. These women have to make ends meet because they're not getting the money that you're getting. They're going overseas to get a bigger bag than they're getting stateside, which is just, they should make more here. But it's also the WNBA must do different things.
I think it's just
to make sure to build up the WNBA. But
they still, I think overseas, man,
they make a lot more money.
They just revere people that have those special talents like that. Yeah. Athletically, they revere them differently. Just like soccer. Mm-hmm. A lot of bodybuilding, I keep up with bodybuilding, y'all. Bodybuilding is a niche. it's bodybuilders that are world famous that will be walking on the street, and a lot of people outside of seeing that they swole, they're not household names.
It's like breakdancing.
Exactly. But those bodybuilders talking about when they go overseas, I'm talking about they are rolling out the red carpet for these dudes like they A-list celebs and stuff like that. But y'all, overall in the Kwame Brown thing, like Skinny said, it's very entertaining. It is intriguing to see this side of Kwame.
Oh yeah.
I told Skeens I couldn't lie. One of my funny parts is when he was talking about Matt Barnes jumping the gate, I guess, to get Derek Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
He talking about he was jumping the gate. He probably had the keys, something like that. He said, but overall,
he monetizing that thing.
For sure.
Get your money
for sure. But here's the thing, though. Here's the bigger conversation, though. I was talking to my brother on the phone, and we talked about 2 hours on the phone. And what we were discussing, and we'll probably have him on soon to discuss some things. But what we were talking about, Skeens, is how often in families, and Skeens, you and I talk about it, and even on the other side, we talk about it, is those. Brian shared with me that a lot of people would feel some type way towards him because he wanted to deal in those people's perception in the truth too much. You know what I mean? He wanted to talk about the truth of things. What's the truth of this? What really happened in this situation? And people like, yo, we don't want to, you know what I mean? And I think a part of the side that Schemes was talking about with Kwame is not wanting to deal in truth. You know what I'm saying? And I think I said this before. I'm 5'6" on a good day. Somebody come up and say, Jay, you short. Oh my God. You're shaming me, telling me that I'm short. Jay, you dark skinned. How did you see this? This is it.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? But why is it that, again, going back to our word, realophobia, people are afraid of the real, man.
Hey.
People don't want to deal in real.
And then I saw another video. Kwame was saying, I didn't care nothing about basketball. I was happy I was able to get my check on the 1st and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Is this not the reason why that you're going on this rant? You didn't care about basketball.
But yet you're sitting here,
look here,
putting out a video,
and
2-3 videos.
And then for some people say, we shouldn't be talking about this. Look here. You can say that I'm wrong, but you can't say that I'm wrong.
Right. There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's basically it. You can say that I'm wrong for talking about it, but you can't say that I'm wrong.
Yeah, indeed. So it's entertaining, y'all. We wanted to touch on that, man, because it is a big deal. A lot of people are championing this version of Kwame, and he's speaking out against us. And he's presented this narrative that's convenient that I don't like. That some kind of way Matt Barnes and Jackson have been basically doing the white man's bidding.
And
I can't deal. I can't connect the dots on that.
And for the people that have watched the show,
yeah,
because y'all always tearing down black men. Their show is basically the basketball version of Drink Champs.
That's what it is.
Is the gift flowers and the tail.
That's what it is.
They basically gawk over the people that they have on that show.
And Skeens and I have talked. Matt Barnes does a great job as the A mic of that show. He's well spoken. He's well studied. And great questions. And Steven, the cool part of it is that they both have a in-depth working knowledge of basketball from doing it. You know what I'm saying? And Matt Barnes has that polished approach. You know what I mean?
Steven is
hood. But, you know what I'm saying? But it's all necessary because a lot of us that play basketball or those guys that play, they come from a certain world where you have to be able to communicate a certain way, and that allows them to feel so that they can give those real true answers and you get the best. But I mean, they're championing black men on that show.
Absolutely. And to show how it's all about communication and brotherhood.
Yeah.
You got Steve from Port Arthur, Texas.
Yep.
You got Matt from Cali.
Yep.
They're best friends.
Best friends.
Then even Steven says one of his other best friends didn't know it. Steph Marbury, New York.
Yep.
Mike Bibby.
Yeah.
California. Yeah. So it's not about where you're located, it's about where you're located amongst each other when you're creating the synergy. Then I hear some people also talking about Steven Jackson. And even I heard Kwame talking, this fake Muslim, he a fake gangster, Steven's saying he's trying to change his life. Even he talked about he's trying not to curse like he used to. I don't know how long he's been a Muslim. I'd be lying to say that I am.
I remember Steven cuss. I remember you telling me one of them episodes. You was like, bruh.
Steven, hey.
My bad. That was actually when was on there. Perk.
That
was when Perk was on there.
Funny. But Stack 5, hey, Stack let you know what he was. He represented.
I even like too. He's talking about I was spending money. He said everybody know I lived at the strip club. Yeah, I was flying people out. Yeah. I was like
Stack 5 represent. Hey, mixtape. He kept his red on. He never hidden who he was. But to see this man, especially after the situation with George Floyd, who he called his twin. Yeah. He's trying to make positive changes in his life, and then now people trying to break him down, as we talk about. Tearing down black men, right?
Yeah,
you're trying to tear down a man who's trying to change his life for the better.
Well, it's the hypocrisy of our culture, right? We pick and choose when we want to say you tearing us down, and when you're championing. And you said,
I got the axe in my hand.
We're talking about tearing down while we're tearing down. We're talking about issues in the community while we ourselves are one of the issues in the community. You know what I'm saying? It's the hypocrisy that kills me in schemes.
If we're gonna talk, we here for it. Be where you're supposed to be in your community.
Right.
Be here for your community. Be here for your family. Yeah. Be here.
Yeah.
To be in the right position. Yeah. Don't be out here perpetuating drama. Now, if you're gonna support Kwame because you're gonna support him.
Yeah.
Not this TikTok moment of being viral. Yep. These moments. If you're here, if you are only supporting because you're here for the drama, then you're the problem.
There you go. Man, I wanted to do that at the beginning of the episode though, but rest in peace to the late great Paul Mooney.
Yeah, man.
That popped in my head. I sent you a thing of where
Paul was
Aries was doing Paul like. Obviously, if you're saying this, that means that I've died, whatever he was saying. And he said some stuff that I could tell he was freestyle that was so dope. One of
Pierre was doing a joint the other day talking about Paul.
Yeah, I saw that. Pierre had a relationship with Paul that I didn't know that he had, man. But Paul, man, was one of the greatest writers, greatest comedians, unapologetically black.
Wrote for Pryor and Dave Chappelle. Think about that.
Come on, man.
To let you know the type of they let you know how
Pryor,
respected
Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, and Living Color. I mean, I could stop right there.
That's what I'm saying. He was the who's who amongst the comedians. So whether he got that praise in the public, amongst his peers, he was at the height of their whatever their job.
Right.
He was that guy, because for Richard Pryor, who was arguably the greatest comedian of all time.
Yes, sir.
To be willing to say, I'm going to lean on you. I'm going to trust in you to provide me with the right material, or to help me clean up my material, however you want to do in part of the writing room. I'm trusting in you to be my guy to help me create these special, these memorable moments. Or Dave Chappelle's show was a cult classic. I'm going to lean on you, and I'm going to trust in you enough to say, you're going to help make this show be what this show has become. Speaks a lot for Paul.
Yeah. And one of Skeens and our favorite joints was a special he did in 2006 called Know Your History, Jesus is Black, and So Was Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And
oh boy, I already know.
There's so many quotables in there. It's so many, Skeen, but he's talking about Aretha Franklin and Diana Ross. If there's a cure for this, I don't want it. Shut up and take your bet. It's just one of my favorite jokes. It was simple, but he was talking about when OJ was trying to get his memorabilia back, and He said OJ forgot what era he was in. When he was in there talking to them dudes. None of you jive turkeys try to split. Can you dig it? I was like, but man, shout out to Paul Mooney, man. I'm gonna go back and watch that special. Me and Skeens, man, when we stayed in our old spot, man, we watched that special. I mean, I don't know how many times, man. But shout out to Paul, man, and just he left an indelible mark on the comedy game. He inspired so many comedians, man, and I mean, he was really, you know, a legend that we could see in this time. You know what I'm saying? He was, you know, he passed at 79 years old.
Long life.
I know he had already had some issues with dementia, I believe, but I think they were saying that he actually passed of a heart attack.
Well, his cousin, Pierre was saying his cousin was there watching him and
said, "Make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich."
Came back
with the bacon, came back, and he had passed. But I think they said it was of a heart attack. I hadn't confirmed that, but I heard that somewhere. So, man, shout out to Paul, his family, man. Again, whenever somebody passes, we say prayers and condolences. You know, pray for him. And it ain't nothing special. I'll tell y'all what I pray. I always say, you know, Lord, I'm always asking for the peace and comfort of the Holy Spirit to their family. And, you know, there's a scripture in Philippians that talks about that God will give you a peace that will surpass all your understanding. So I always pray that for them, and that their family would, you know, the Bible also talks about God giving you his perfect peace. So I always pray that for people, and for when they have family members that transition, and, you know, for anybody that's connected to them, you know what I'm saying, that they will have God's perfect peace as they're mourning that transition process, man. Skeens, you got any parting shots, man?
No, man. Hey, it's all comedy. Yeah,
so we are going to do an episode. I think we're going to try to shout out also, man, to our platform here, man. Again, y'all go to Better Than Your Average. If you look that up on YouTube, you'll be able to find us there. If you look up How Did We Get Here with Jay Carter and Skeens on Spotify, you'll find us there. But I also want to shout out our app here that we use, our software that we use, Riverside FM, is what we've been able to record these through and put these out, man. It's really helped us as far as putting out this content and being able to transition it over to the actual straight up audio, you know, podcast platform. But we're going to try to do a live where we talk with ladies about their, and really, you know, we were thinking about it, you know, really after thinking about some of the stuff that happened on the Joe Budden podcast and after Olivia Dope came out, is just want to hear from ladies that we know about experiences that they've had in the workplace, you know, and how, you know, they've had certain interactions with men. We're curious about some of that stuff. So we'll probably try to do like an actual live where people can interact with us on Riverside FM. So we'll try to post like a link on social media and then have you guys jump on to experience that with us, man. Also, man, I was thinking about birthdays. I forgot. It was so many in May, but old homie LL Cool J, I messaged her the other day, got her new phone number. Cause I was like, yo, I had text you. And she's like, Jay, I got a different number. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to L, man. One of the homies from way back, man. Doing well. Glad to see her doing well in life, man. But I think that's all we got for now. But until the next time, it's your boy Jay Carter. It's been another episode of How Did We Get Here? And the man that is always heard and never seen, Skeens.
Peace, and get your Kwame Brown jerseys.
Hey, you know what? It's going to be like the Versus effect.
His jersey sales better be going up.
His jersey sales might be through the roof. Bro, you know what? I never seen a Kwame Brown jersey when we was running around.
Rock it proudly. He has many teams he's been on. Rock them proudly.
Get one for each team.
Yeah, and have his stats on it.
All right, man. We'll holler at y'all next time.